So today I'm interviewing Jon Hare of, the creator of Sociable Soccer, actually. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for taking the time.
No problem.
So now we are talking about your newest creation. That would be Sociable Soccer.
Correct.
And you started a Kickstarter a while ago about that, but that wasn't successful. So I think the last status was you wrote that you want to go traditional ways of publishing it.
Correct.
Right. So you gave me the chance to look at the newest, Xbox PC version.
It's a PC version. Yeah.
It's a PC version with an Xbox controller. I played it, and the VR version. So let's talk about that. So first of all, I have to admit, I was more of a Microprose soccer player.
Okay.
So maybe
That's no
I missed
problem.
something.
I don't mind Microprose Soccer. That works as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just in case I missed some
Because we made Microprose Soccer as well.
Oh, Sensible Software did that too?
We did Microprose Soccer first, then we did Sensible Soccer, and now I'm doing Sociable Soccer with different team.
Okay, because on my version it said Microprose.
Of course, they published it, but we developed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
this is good.
Good.
You said something good.
So that doesn't give me minus points or
No,
something.
this gives you plus points.
Okay, good. I especially like the banana kick or something, what it was called. Yeah, that was pretty neat. And that you had rain and so on. But I think Sociable Soccer was more an Amiga game.
It was Amiga first, and it went to ST, to PC, and then later to Xbox, PlayStation.
That would explain.
You skipped the Amiga.
Yeah, I went from C64 to PC and NES and SNES between. That would explain.
You could have found Sensible Soccer on PC, but the Amiga version was superior.
Yeah.
Why make a retro brand when it's a different game? And actually, it's got like free to play. On the mobile stuff, it's got like free-to-play mechanics of a different kind of player avatar career thing within your big team, and it's got online gameplay and many things that we didn't have in Sensible Soccer. So it's a different kind of game. It's got a huge amount of content. I have to say, it's still got the 1,000 teams, 31,000 players, 66 tournaments. In fact, stating it in modern ways, it's probably got about 500 hours gameplay on the single-player mode. And then the online stuff is separate with all the league systems and stuff.
It's interesting because what you're telling me now is you're going against the trend. Because, nowadays companies are trying to get the IP from retro games and make it a successor because they think it's more successful, because people like my age who were childs like 20 years ago, they might remember the name and say, yeah, it's more likely that I buy the successor because the name is the same. But you say you want to make a totally different soccer game that is not entirely connected to the Sensible Soccer brand.
The only thing, there are similarities to Sensible Soccer. Obviously, it plays at a fast pace. There's several camera angles, but you can play in PC the overhead kind of angle because it's in Unity in 3D. We can pick any angle we want, so the VR is obviously totally different. It's like top of the stadium at the side and sort of scrolling around like a cameraman, So I think that it would be a mistake to call it Sensible Soccer. Actually, it makes the game seem smaller than it is. This is actually 5 platforms because it's also on PlayStation, Xbox, as well as PC and iOS and Android. All the VR headsets is in NVIDIA Shield, so we can take your mobile phone to your TV, and Apple TV does that as well. So we needed to find a combination that worked, that we could go for premium on Xbox and on PlayStation, that can go for free to play. So we found mechanics that we think are so good in free to play. Specifically, there's a mechanic in 8-Ball Pool. I don't know if you played that.
Oh yeah.
Where you kind of decide how much of your game money you want to say you're going to risk on the next game. This is a really cool game mechanic. As long as you don't monetize it by taking money from the player, it also works on premium as just a way of, backing yourself up and up and up and up and then going back down again. So it's quite a cool mechanic.
So it's not a normal commercial game, it's for a free-to-play game?
It's premium and free-to-play.
Both.
So
okay.
What we've done to make a cross-platform game, obviously Unity helps on the platform front. The plugging the VR in wasn't too hard, and that works on every platform except Apple iOS at the moment. because we're in 5 platforms, there's different things to solve now in the games market.
And you said Unity works on every platform except iOS.
No. Unity works on every platform. VR works on every platform except iOS right now, because Apple don't currently have a VR support. I mean, you never know with Apple; they may come out in 6 months with the best VR system you've ever seen, in which case we will support it. So we don't know about this. iOS and Android both support means of getting your TV to your television via Apple TV or Nvidia Shield. So this now can turn your phone into effectively a VR console plus a regular console which goes to your TV, which is pretty cool, with remote controllers which are quite cheap, about 20 euros or so. So the thing from a publishing point of view is, how do you combat the fact that all mobile games are free to play, and on the kind of downloadable digital kind of like PlayStation, Xbox, which we will be on those platforms, and to a certain extent on Steam as well, it tends to be premium, right? So how do we battle that? So it took us a while to figure out the plan, because we wanted to make one really good game. So basically the system is pretty simple. We have 66 full tournaments in the game. We have 1,000 teams. We have 31,000 players. We have 5 leagues and 2 cups in England. 3 leagues and a cup in Germany, 2 in Spain, 2 in Italy, and then Argentina, Brazil, America, Mexico, Korea, Japan, China, Australia, Russia, Turkey, Portugal, Greece, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so our plan was quite simply that in the premium version, it's all unlocked at the start. In the free-to-play version, you only get 3 of those things unlocked.
I see.
So you can play to slowly unlock them, or you pay to get them unlocked quickly. This is free-to-play mechanic. In the online league system, you choose your club from 1,000 clubs at the start. You choose your country, and you put your name, and everyone around the world is different. So then you play through the leagues. But the monetization from 8 Ball Pool works because you kind of have game currency, and you decide how much you want to say you're going to play on the next game. If you win, you kind of double your money. If you draw, it just stays the same. Well, you can't have a draw in pool, but you can in football. And if you lose your money. So we keep that part. But what happens when you lose your money is you then have to buy other game money to come back in, right? So we've added a free spin at the bottom of the pile. So when you run out of money, you've got a free spin where it's cost you nothing, but you get about a little bit of money even if you win, to keep you back on the road again, to make the money, you understand? And the main difference between free-to-play and premium, on premium, whenever you go down, you just get free spin, you go back up again, you go down, okay?
Nice.
So you're trying to, by gaining XP, the main difference between the free-to-play and the premium side is that on the free-to-play, 2 key things here. There's about 4 different things, but 2 key things are the free spin only works once every 6 hours in free-to-play, or you have to pay to get more money. The second thing is that your XP, every day you're trying to get promoted in the league. So we have leagues of 50 teams. If you're in the top 10, you get promoted. In the bottom 10, you get relegated. So every day you're trying to push up the leagues to get your team from, because we've got 820 club sides, you've got 16 divisions in the league system. So you're trying to push up to the next division. So you just play, you keep your XP. If you fail to get promotion, so next time you'll start slightly higher up the league and you play again.
I see, I understand.
On the free-to-play version, every day, if you didn't fill up your XP bar, it just goes all the way down to 0 and gets converted to cash. Okay? So it's a system which means that the premium player keeps his XP, the premium player has limitless free spins, the premium player has all the content unlocked, whereas in the free-to-play, this is all limited. Okay?
Makes sense.
Without us having to reinvent the game, it comes around in a different way. And the last thing is that, this is quite a cool thing actually, when you win some of the games, you unlock classic players from the past. So if you're playing for Munich, you could unlock Mateus. And he's like a special weapon who goes in your team.
That's quite interesting.
So you can put your player avatar in the team. So you have these 2 managers, your country and club, and sometimes they select your avatar to join the team.
And then you can use your antique past player and add it to the team as well.
As well as like a special weapon.
Okay.
So these come for they're like loan players in real football. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 matches, you get these guys coming in to join the squad. And on the free-to-play version, you have an option to pay to keep the loan going for longer. Okay. Not something we'll be putting in the premium version. So we've tried to keep the game mechanics and the game systems identical, but just balance the way it works for the financial mechanics, which means that the premium players are getting a lot more value because they want that value, but the free-to-play players can still access the content via free-to-play mechanics.
Interesting.
So this has taken quite a while to come up with a nice balanced system.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about the gameplay. I have played it and I figured it's more of an action football game. You're not really realistic on yellow cards, red cards, and so on.
No. Okay, so there's a point. There's two. You're correct, half correct. So
correct me.
Okay, so you're right. It's very much. I get asked a lot. What's the difference between this game and FIFA or Pro Evo? This is a constant question. The answer is we are not trying to be FIFA or Pro Evo, which are both realistic simulations. We are an arcade game. We're a fast-paced arcade game. If you watch two really good players playing it, the rhythm is more like a fighting game. It's so fast. I mean, when I play top speed, I can do 4 passes in 1 second. Like 3 passes and shoot. Taking me 1 second in gameplay. And the other guys try to put in 3 tackles in the same time. So, in terms of the gameplay, it's fun, and it's more like a snack as opposed to a gourmet dinner, which you call FIFA or Pro Evolution Soccer. So, although it's football action, we are not particularly competing on the same turf. You know, it's just something you could almost play both games, depending on how much time you've got. Our games last for 3 minutes. Okay. So the second thing about the referees, this is because the game you played at the moment is just over half finished, and we haven't done the referees yet. You might also notice that the players currently kick the ball in rather than throw, because we haven't done the throwing animation frames yet. So this is a gameplay-wise, it's probably 85% there, but in terms of animation and some other things, it's missing a lot of stuff.
I also think in the Kickstarter there was mentioning of cutscenes and action scenes. Like I don't really remember, but I think there was kind of
cutscene. I don't know. We've not really thought about cutscenes for a while, really. I guess there'll be some things, maybe when you win a trophy or something. But to be honest, we're not anywhere near that part of the game yet. We've just got the core gameplay, all the teams, and all those things. So there's a lot to still be added to the game. You know, it's not finished.
Are there any special features like raining, like from Microprose Soccer, or a banana kick, or whatever special moves?
The banana kicks are in there. The full after-touch system is in there, actually. Control-wise, we've kind of done a combination of Sensible Soccer and FIFA, actually. So you've got a FIFA player can pick this up quickly. What we're finding, what is great about the game, is it's like a light version of FIFA to young children. So a lot of young children find FIFA quite complex to pick up.
Yeah.
Whereas we've put it on 3 buttons. Okay? But actually there's a special button, which is the pass button for the FIFA player, which is actually a full Sensible Soccer control button. So you tap it to pass, and if you hold it down for a long time, you kind of can bend it around in exactly the normal Sensible Soccer way. So this means that the only difference for a FIFA player is he's got to remember he can't hold the pass button down for too long, he's got to tap it on the floor or it turns into a Sensible Soccer shot. And we're finding this is quite a nice balance, actually. And there's a lot of, the actual touch controls on the mobile. If you don't have a remote control, you need to burn your fingers. Is actually very good, and possibly more in mobile because of the lack of competition. Ultimate Team is the only full action game for football on mobile at all. And I would say the weakness of it is that it was a game designed for console because it's basically a FIFA port on mobile, and they haven't quite worked out how to turn it into a proper mobile title. It's a little bit slow. The controls aren't quite optimized for mobile because they weren't designed for mobile originally. And so we had the advantage of starting off with nothing and planning a cross-platform game that would consider all this stuff from the start. So we've got very little competition on mobile at all. We really haven't. Like I said, there's one other game. It might be a big one, but there's one.
So you don't see yourself as a competition of FIFA and Pro Evolution Soccer, but you are, well, giving a hand on the FIFA players by putting in a button that works like on FIFA, as I said.
The buttons, the control structure on FIFA and Pro Evolution Soccer, which is all everyone's played for the last 15 years, are pretty much similar default control systems. So we decided to just use the same, but we just took out all the complex moves.
And the mobile version, apart from the impressive VR, by the way, because it's like you are really watching the game and you have to move your head to see where you are going. I also noticed it's playing faster on the VR system than on the PC version. Could that be?
I would ask the programmer about that.
Okay.
So there's no intention to do that. Maybe some of them aren't quite standardized. There's a chance because the code base in some areas hasn't yet been totally synced, but I'll be surprised. It might be the system itself, and that might need managing, but that's not the intention.
Okay.
This you can't come through this way.
So basically, it's the same game.
It's exactly the same game, going through Unity. Yeah.
Okay.
We're only making one really great game that's made for all the systems, and then making sure it works on the systems.
That's a good question, actually, because in the past there was a lot of problems of game converting, like from console to PC, and then it would lose quality.
Don't tell me about it. Have you ever played PlayStation Sensible Soccer?
No, never.
It's horrendous. The original PlayStation. But in general, the PC versions, we like for Cannon Fodder and Megalomania and Sensible Soccer all went to the same company, a company called AVM or Wave. And they did the conversions there. They were pretty good, but it wasn't exactly the same tuning as the original, you know. And then you'd have like PlayStation, Xbox, Jaguar, Lynx, 3DO, CD32. Remember all these formats, and it's like you've got no control of the quality.
Yes.
And it was, and the earlier you go back, the worse it is. So there's a version of Shoot 'em Up Construction Kit, which we did on the Commodore 64, which was put on the Amiga, which I think is actually worse than the Commodore 64 version. Maybe, of course, I've got rose-tinted spectacles, or I value our stuff. The same I'd say for Whizball. Whizball and the Spectrum, we didn't touch that. So in each of those games, you've got to allow another bunch of developers to do a job. And if I'm really honest, we're never, ever as happy with what they've done as what we would have done. But having said that, you didn't have time. There were so many conversions to do.
But
so
nowadays
Unity is brilliant for this, and Unreal. They're both good engines, right? And it's brilliant what they give us. They just if we look at, if anyone's seen the Sensible Soccer we did in 3D in 1998, everyone was getting to grips with writing 3D engines. In our company, that meant for me as a designer, 75% of the time we couldn't even work on gameplay because we were just about making graphics display.
Yeah. To make the conversion go right.
Well, just to make the engine work. So it was even worse than the version. It was actually the engine of the original version.
And nowadays it's easier because you have less platforms, and second you have Unity, and it's all the same framework.
Absolutely correct. It's brilliant from a designer's point of view. The programmers will always moan about Unity or Unreal. You can't help it. Programmers like to moan about that. But from a designer's point of view, it means I can constantly be talking about the design, and I don't get deflected about we need to render more polygons.
That's really great.
It's brilliant because it went from, and it's very much more similar to the Commodore 64 and the Amiga development kind of like structure, because they were also internal systems, totally different types of systems, but the system was very strong and robust, a bit like Unity or Unreal, which means that you don't have to spend all your time focusing on the like the groundwork, the foundations of the game. That's kind of laid out for you.
Great. So in the end, it shouldn't matter which platform I will buy Sociable Soccer for. I should have the same experience.
In terms of playing experience, they're very, very similar. There's people out there at the moment playing, for example, there's a version on display on the PC with the Xbox controllers, like you said. There's also a version on an iPad. We've seen remote controllers work on an iPad. You can also play on the touchscreen on the phones, but in a game show that's like not recommended. Touch controls and the joypad is slightly different, but they're very, very similar.
Great. So when do you plan to release the full version?
So currently we're speaking to a number of different publishers and assessing our opportunities and how we take it to market. The main advantage actually of not having the Kickstarter was twofold. Firstly, we could experiment with stuff more, which meant we came upon this VR by accident actually, and it's turned out to be a very, very cool feature that people are.
I can agree.
It's probably the coolest feature in the game at the moment, and I have to say that speaking to like Oculus particularly, there's not many other people making games like this, and you know, people have said this is the best game I've ever seen on VR.
Wow.
Full stop.
Yeah.
The reason is because we're not making people motion sick. We're not moving them around. We're keeping them still in a set like a cameraman, and you're rotating.
That's right.
And it's a really good playable game underneath it. So what VR tends to be is a graphics demo with a bit of gameplay kind of tacked on. It looks good enough, and the gameplay is really good, and it doesn't make you motion sick at all. You just get immersed into being in a stadium, like you're sitting in a chair, turning your head from one goal to the other goal. That's actually the feeling of playing the game.
So you don't know yet when you will release it, so it will be kind of next year, I guess.
It will be next year. I mean, the rough plan we have is that, depending on the platform we're talking about, but a kind of, if there's a soft launch, if it's a platform with soft launch on, or, you know, beta kind of thing, it will be the beginning of next year.
Oh,
like
nice.
the first month or two, we think at the moment, and then to release in March, April, May, like this. But some of the publishers we've spoken to have different approaches. So if we sign with them, they might want an extra year from now. So it actually depends on the publisher. You know, and then it depends on do we have one publisher that does all 5 platforms, which would obviously be one of the bigger guys, or do actually we have one that does mobile and one that does PC and console?
Yeah.
We don't even know that yet. So
okay.
You know, and then we have obviously the world market is different. So there's opportunities to do things in different parts of Asia, say, and other places where you can go to very specific publishers who know their markets. So it's quite a complex question to ask when it's released.
Okay.
The answer is
when it's done.
I think we'll have more of an idea towards the end of this year.
Okay.
When it's signed up and every game needs a publishing plan.
So hopefully we can keep in touch, and you can tell us a bit about the progress along the way, and then we know more, if you like.
Yeah,
of
I'd
course.
love to, yes, absolutely.
Then we would do an update interview on our podcast, for example.
That's
would
great.
be a possibility. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.